Right, so hello and welcome back to Books and Things, and welcome to another video, and welcome to the first vlog of Jane Austen July. So hello and happy Jane Austen July. It is the 1st of July today, and I feel my Jane Austen July is not off to a wonderful start. I haven't been feeling very well today. I don't know whether I have sunstroke or something else, but I feel very exhausted. So I've taken most of the day off work sick, and I have been doing a little bit of slow reading, but not really Jane Austen July reading, mostly of books that I was hoping to finish in June and just didn't manage to finish reading last week. So I am partway through The Heir of Venus and also How to Solve Your Own Murder. I'm actually listening to this on audiobook, not reading it physically now. I'm really enjoying both of those, and I would really like to finish them. So I think I'm going to try and finish them before I get started with my Jane Austen July reading in earnest, just because I don't like leaving books unfinished, and I am really enjoying both of them. So I have not done any Jane Austen July reading today. I have already started listening to both Sense and Sensibility and Emma, both of which I started listening to in June, just because there are times when I want a reread audiobook rather than a new audiobook, so I've listened to bits of them. I am not going to vlog much today because, as I said, I'm not feeling 100% looking at myself in the camera. I feel like I look really tired, but oh well. I hope I'll feel better tomorrow and that the rest of Jane Austen July will be better, and I'll get started with some Jane Austen July reading tomorrow. So I think the things I'm going to start with for Jane Austen July, as I said, I have already started listening to both Sense, Sensibility and Emma, and then I think I'm also going to listen to Mrs. Wickham by Sarah Page really early on, because it's only like 2 hours, and I think reading that soon will make me feel like I've accomplished something in Jane Austen July. And then I've also got The Late Mrs. Willoughby by Claudia Gray out from the library on audiobook, so I'll probably start that very soon too, because obviously I only have a limited amount of time with that when it's out from the library. And then I think the first book I will start reading rather than listening to will probably be A Lady's Guide to Scandal by Sophie Owen, because that is my Patreon book club pick for this month, so I want to make sure I prioritise that, and I'm really looking forward to that. I've got that on Kindle, so hopefully I'll start that tomorrow. And yeah, that's all for now. A very brief tired check-in, and I will speak to you again soon. Hello, hello, it is the 2nd of July and I'm feeling much better than I was yesterday, though I have not read anything for Jane Austen July at all yet. So there we go, promising beginning to the month, but oh well. However, I'm about to go out this evening, and I will read a bit on the train, and I'm going to start A Lady's Guide to Scandal by Sophie Owen, which I think will be really great fun. I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm actually on my way out to an exciting event this evening, because I was invited to come along to an event at the National Gallery. It's the National Gallery's 200th anniversary this year, and they have something happening this year called like the Creator 200, I think, where they've picked like 200 influencers or creators online to get like special access to certain events at the National Gallery, which is really cool. So I'm going along to an event there tonight. No idea what it will be like, but I'm wearing a dress covered in teapots, which I thought would be fun. So I will try and do a bit of vlogging while I'm there, because I think it'll be quite interesting and fun. And while not related to Jane Austen July, it does feel of a similar vibe to Jane Austen July. So I will take my phone with me and do some vlogging, and I will check in again tomorrow when hopefully I will have actually done some Jane Austen July reading, and this reading vlog will properly be a reading vlog, but there we go. Anyway. Hello, so it is now Wednesday the 3rd of July, and yeah, the National Gallery event last night was really fun. It was really lovely to chat to people and have a look around the Impressionist Gallery after hours when it was quite quiet, and I was so pleased that it was the Impressionist Gallery because that is my favourite art movement. In general, I am very much like a book person more than a visual arts person, but the Impressionists have always been like the art movement that I've been like, oh, but this is fascinating, this is really cool. Maybe it's just because like all the different ways they put together all the different colours and textures, like using small things to create a whole feels more like books do to me than most visual art does. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just really enjoy the Impressionist movement, so it was really fun that that was the gallery that was open in the National Gallery, and I just had a lovely time. It was a really cool event to go to, so that was very exciting. And I did some reading on the way to and from, and I've also managed to do a bit of reading today, so I'm now about a third of the way through A Lady's Guide to Scandal by Sophie Irwin, which I am really enjoying so far. It's just very good fun, just like pure utter joy, which was what I was in need of. I've just been very like busy lately, and I'm feeling like slightly stressed with life, so I just really needed a lovely hug in a book, just hilarious fun read, and it's so funny, like the dialogue is so sharp and so witty, so I'm just really enjoying that. So that's mostly what I have been reading for Jane Austen July so far, but hopefully I'll make some more progress with some other things in the next couple of days. I've got quite a busy day tomorrow, I've got quite a bit of work to do, and I'm also recording a podcast, like an interview with a library tomorrow, so that'll be really fun. I also need to vote tomorrow because it's election day tomorrow, and that's exciting. We could really do with a new government in the UK, and hopefully we will get one, so you know, we will see. And then I'm going to a gig in the evening tomorrow. I'm going to see The Killers, so that'll be really exciting. Looking forward to that. So lots going on tomorrow. Will I manage to do any reading? I don't know, but I will check in again soon. Hello, it is now Saturday the 6th of July. I feel like I haven't filmed a clip for this vlog for a couple of days, and I'm a bit behind, but there we go. It's been a busy few days in my life and the country. We have a new government, so that's a relief. I'm very relieved that the Conservatives are no longer in government. I know I very rarely talk about politics on this channel, but the general election was a massive deal this week, and it felt really weird not to mention that. So big week in the UK, and meanwhile I have been reading and working and doing things. I had an amazing time at the gig I went to on Thursday. I went to see The Killers, and they were supported by Travis, who I also love, so that was very exciting. That was fantastic, really good gig. And then yeah, have been working and reading a bit. I read a bit more of A Lady's Guide to Scandal by Sophie Irwin, which I am really enjoying so far. I'm coming up to halfway through, and it's just really delightful and fun and lovely. And the characterization is so good, and the writing is so sharp and witty, and I'm just finding it an absolute joy. Lord Melville is amazing. I'm very much loving him as a character. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that a lot. And then I also listened to Mrs. Wickham by Sarah Page on Audible, which was really interesting. It was kind of an audio drama, I guess, more than an audio book. Like, it had quite a lot of sound effects and different actors. It was really good. So it's sort of like two and a half hours. Kind of short story, I suppose. Pride and Prejudice spoilers ahead, but it's from the perspective of Lydia after she's got married to Wickham, kind of looking at her coming of age story, I guess, when she's in her kind of late teens, early 20s, and her like, coming into her own, and her story of what happens to her after Pride and Prejudice, and about her relationship with her sisters and her husband, and a lot of other things. And I just thought it was really good. Do I think everything is completely true to the characters in the novel? Possibly not, but I feel like the story was really well done and it was really well acted, and there were a lot of little details which I just really, really liked, and in general I thought it was just really well done, so I'd really recommend that, and it's very short as well, so that's really nice. So that's my first completed thing for Jane Austen July, and now I need to crack on with the audiobook for The Late Mrs. Willoughby, which I'm really excited to read, and also crack on and finish A Lady's Guide to Scandal, because I don't think that would take me too long. Otherwise, I don't think there's too much to report on. I don't have too much on tomorrow, so hopefully I'll get quite a bit of reading done tomorrow, which will be really nice. And otherwise, yeah, that's all for now, and I'll check in again later in the week. Hello again, it is Monday evening and I thought I would update you with my reading. So I am now about 2/3 of the way through A Lady's Guide to Scandal, which I am really, really enjoying still. It's absolutely lovely. I didn't manage to finish it over the weekend, but hopefully I will finish it in the next few days. It's really, really good fun and just very entertaining, and I'm just really swept away with the story, so I'm loving that a lot. And then I started listening to The Late Mrs. Willoughby by Claudia Gray, which is the second book in her sort of Jane Austen murder mystery series. I wouldn't recommend reading The Late Mrs. Willoughby unless you have first read The Death of Mr. Wickham, because it does spoil the first novel considerably. But I'm really, really enjoying encountering lots of characters from Jane Austen and also some characters from the first book in the series, and it's just excellent fun and really well done, so I'm really enjoying that. And then I also read a little bit of this. This is The Travels of Dean Mahomet, an 18th century journey through India, and this is one of my picks for reading a book by a contemporary of Jane Austen. So I haven't actually started reading the bit from the 18th century yet. I was just reading the preface, and then I still have more sort of context introduction to go before we get into Dean Mahomet's words from 1794, I think. So I'm really enjoying kind of getting the context and more about Dean Mahomet's life. As I said, I had read about him in another non-fiction book, so it's really interesting to kind of learn a bit more about him, and I'm looking forward to reading his writing. But yes, I think I'm going to be more focused on A Lady's Guide to Scandal, which hopefully I can finish soon. So I think that's all I have to update you on for now, and I will check in again soon. Hello, it is 10 p.m. on Tuesday evening, and I've just finished reading A Lady's Guide to Scandal, and what a joy it was. There were a lot of other things that I should have been doing this evening. I had lots of emails to reply to and quite a long to-do list, but I was reading A Lady's Guide to Scandal while I was eating dinner, and I got up to like the 3/4 mark, and it was so good and so dramatic and exciting that I just had to read all the way through to the end, and it was so good. It was just such an utter delight. Like I just loved it. It was just such an utter joy to read, and I just loved everything about it, and I want to talk about it in detail, but I don't want to give spoilers, so I feel like there's not much for me to say except that like what an utter joy. It was just amazing, and I loved it completely and entirely, and I really love Sophie Owen's debut novel A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting too, but I love A Lady's Guide to Scandal even more. I thought it was so good, and the characterization was amazing, and not just like the central characters but even all the minor characters were so well done, and I just thought it was an utter joy. My Kindle is on 5% battery. I got a warning being like, your Kindle's on low battery. I was like, oh my goodness, I've got 5% of this book left to read. What if my Kindle dies before I finish it and I have to like wait half an hour while it charges? That would be devastating. But I did manage to read it just in time, which I'm very pleased about, and it was so good. So that's mostly what I wanted to say tonight, that I have been shirking all my other responsibilities in life in order to read A Lady's Guide to Scandal, and it was amazing. I'm also now about halfway through the Claudia Gray book, The Late Mrs. Willoughby, which I am really enjoying It's really good so far. Hopefully I'll get through more of that this week. And yeah, I need to decide what else to read next now I've finished The Lady's Guide to Scandal, but I'll decide that tomorrow. Right now I'm just on a like book high of how amazing that was. So, oh, it was so good. It was so good. I loved it so much. Hello, hello. It is now Thursday, the 11th of July, and I don't have too much to update you on. I switched from listening to the audiobook of Sense and Sensibility to reading the physical book of Sense and Sensibility, just because I don't have very much time to finish listening to The Late Mrs. Willoughby on audiobook before it's due back to the library. So I was getting behind on the Sense and Sensibility group read schedule, so I thought I would just switch over to the physical book, and now I'm all caught up. I just love Sense and Sensibility. I think it's such a wonderful novel. And I also feel like it's such a pleasure to reread it because I have just like got such a new appreciation for it and love for it in the last few years, and I've also reread it like lots of years in a row, so I'm just really enjoying and rereading Sense and Sensibility. And then, as I said, I have been listening to The Late Mrs. Willoughby. I'm now 2/3 of the way through, and I think I have worked out who did it. So I'm really curious to see whether or not I'm right, and hopefully I will finish it in the next 3 days, because that is how long I have to listen to it before my audiobook will return to the library. So hopefully I can get through a lot of that in the next few days, because I'm really enjoying it, and it's great, and it would be very upsetting to have to give a mystery back to the library like before I had found out who did it. And then I also managed to read a little bit more of The Travels of Dee Mahomet, but not very much. I'm still in the kind of like introduction, setup, background context. I haven't actually got to Dee Mahomet's words yet, but I'm still finding this really interesting, and I just think this is one of those books I'm going to read slowly throughout the month. I think that's mostly what I have to report for now. In other news, it is now just 1 week left to go until my novel comes out, which is very, very exciting, but does mean things are starting to get busier, or even just like I'm spending more time sorting out social media stuff, and like doing countdown pictures on Instagram, which I have a lot of fun with. Otherwise, I think that's all for now, and I will check in again soon. Hello again, it is now Saturday the 13th of July, and I wanted to let you know how my reading has been going. So I've been carrying on with Sense and Sensibility, which I am really enjoying. I'm getting further on now, and I might just try and power through and finish it tonight or tomorrow. That would be, I think, a day or two ahead of the read along, but I also feel like it would be nice to get another book completed. And then I finished listening to The Late Mrs. Willoughby on audiobook by Claudia Gray, which I really, really enjoyed. And I did guess correctly. I solved the mystery, which I very rarely do, so I'm feeling proud of myself for that. And I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was just a really great read. I just really enjoy the characterization in Claudia Gray's book. I think especially of the characters who are new for the series rather than from Jane Austen. Juliet Tilney and Jonathan Darcy are just so well done, and I really, really liked them. But I also liked what was done with the other characters in this novel too, so I really enjoyed that a lot. And then I've started listening to The Anarchy by William Dalrymple, and that's been interesting so far. I've only read the introduction, but I've been finding it interesting. And then I was thinking that I haven't actually watched anything for Jane Austen July yet for any of the watching challenges. And I was thinking about what I might like to watch, and I realised that all of the things I had planned to watch for Jane Austen July that I talked about in my TBR are all Sense and Sensibility adaptations, and I'm not sure that I actually want to watch a Sense and Sensibility adaptation until I have finished reading the books and filmed, or at least planned, some of the videos I want to make about Sense and Sensibility, because I don't want the adaptations to be as fresh in my head and influencing what I say. So I thought what I might do instead is watch an adaptation not of Sense and Sensibility, and I was thinking that I haven't watched the Lizzie Bennet Diaries for a really long time, so I might actually start rewatching the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. I don't imagine I will rewatch the whole of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries in Jane Austen July, but I do think it'll be quite fun to watch some of them, so I might start watching some of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries tonight. And then also this evening, something I'm really looking forward to, I'm going to be doing a live show with the Jane Austen Literacy Foundation. That'll be on the Jane Austen Literacy Foundation's YouTube page, and I'm going to be joined joined by Claudia from Spencer's Library. Marissa can't make it. I did share the live show link on YouTube, but stupidly I forgot to do it until only this afternoon. So I'll leave that down below in the description in case anyone wants to go watch it after the fact. It's been really nice actually. This Jane Austen July, me and the other two hosts have been invited both to go on a live show with the Jane Austen Literacy Foundation, who are a charity promoting literacy, and we were also invited to go on a podcast made by JASNA, the Jane Austen Society of North America, called The Austen Chat, and I'll leave that podcast link down below as well. And it was just really lovely to get like 2 requests to like go and talk to like Jane Austen organisations about the Jane Austen July. That's just like really, really fun. It's really lovely to see like the word spreading about Jane Austen July, so that's very exciting. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say this evening, and I will check in again tomorrow probably to finish off this vlog. Hello again, it is the evening of Sunday the 14th of July, and I thought I would wrap up this vlog here. So we're now coming up to halfway through July, but not quite halfway through July, and my Jane Austen July has been mixed so far, by which I mean I've read a lot of fantastic things, but I haven't read as much as I would like to. But I have read 3, well, very nearly 4 things. I'm very nearly done with Sense and Sensibility. I've only got about 40 pages left, but I'm not going to quite manage to finish it off tonight, but I should manage to finish it off tomorrow, and I've been really loving that. And then I am partway through a couple of other things, so I've started listening to Emma on audiobook. I've also started listening to The Anarchy by William Dalrymple, and I've also just started the Lizzie and Belle mysteries too, which I think will be quite fun. So I'm looking forward to cracking on with that. I'm about 10% of the way through the ebook right now. So I don't think there's much else I have to report today. I'm gonna finish this Jane Austen July vlog here, and then I will start another one. Well, I might not actually start a new Jane Austen July vlog straight away because next week my novel The Trouble with Mrs. Montgomery Hearst is coming out, so I might do like a publication week vlog next week, and then for the last like 10 days of the month I might do another Jane Austen July vlog. Maybe I'll do it that way. But there'll probably be a bit of Jane Austen July reading in with my publication week vlog too. Anyway, that's all for now. Do let me know how your Jane Austen July is going so far, and I'll be back very soon with another bookish video.